Most budget wireless mic systems cut corners, have fewer features, and strip down designs. But this new one from Saramonic is quietly raising the bar. It's only 149 US dollars, but it works with cameras and phones, and it's packed with some features that you usually only see on more expensive mic systems. This is the Saramonic Air, and I think it has 6 key features over some of its top competitors, like the DJI Mic Mini and the Rode Wireless Micro. In this video, I'll break down what the Saramonic Air does well, where it falls short, and how it actually sounds, with plenty of unedited audio tests. And by the end, I'll let you know whether I think it's worth it and who it's best for. Saramonic did send this mic for me to test, but they're not paying me to say anything, nor are they reviewing this video before it goes live. But if you do find this video helpful, then please consider using my affiliate links below to help support the channel. So in case you're brand new to wired lav mics or you're not sure what these are, the main reason why you'd want to use one is to get some distance between yourself or your subject that you're filming and the camera. Like typically if you're using an onboard mic or like a shotgun mic, you'd have to be really close to the camera, which has the microphone on it. But if you're wearing a wired mic like this, I can get further away. But before I get into the differences, these 3 mics have a lot in common. They all come with charging cases, and they're all mini non-professional microphones, in that they lack some features like 32-bit float and built-in recording. If you want those, you'll typically have to shell out more money for higher class models, like the Saramonic Ultra, the DJI Mic 2, and the Rode Wireless Pro. Luckily though, all of these mini mics do shoot in mono, stereo, or safety track audio, because some of those budget mics only shoot in mono audio, so be sure to check for that. For a size comparison, I think that Rode wins in terms of having the smallest overall footprint. The charging case is roughly the size of an Apple AirPods case. However, the biggest physical problem that I have with Rode is that there's no space inside of the case to store the optional windscreens. In fact, there isn't even a case for the windscreens at all, so I never know exactly how to store them, and I've come so close to misplacing them. I much prefer the way that Saramonic and DJI let you store the transmitters in the charging case with the windscreens attached. So even though all of these mic transmitters have built-in mics, sometimes you might want to use a wired lavalier microphone so that it's more discreet. Now typically, many budget mics will lack the ability to connect a wired lavalier to transmitters. This is usually reserved for more expensive mic models, but in the case of the Saramonic Air, it's an advantage. The Air transmitters are the only ones here that have a port for connecting a wired lavalier microphone. The only catch is that the Air transmitter lav mic input is proprietary. Thus, you have to buy a specific Saramonic lav mic to use here. You can't connect any other 3.5mm wired lavs that you might have sitting around, which is a bummer because I have a bunch of them. Of these microphones, only the Saramonic Air's receiver has a color LED screen, which is helpful for seeing real-time information and giving you detailed control over the system. Now, it's not a touchscreen display, but it's a display nonetheless, which all the other receivers here are lacking. The DJI receiver just has buttons and knobs, and the Rode has no tactile control at all. To see or change any settings on the Rode or the DJI, you have to connect them to the phone apps. Now, speaking of phone apps, all of these mic systems have their own. The Saramonic is the only one here that you don't need to use to fine-tune the settings, since you can do that on the receiver. But the Saramonic app is still really comprehensive, and I would dare say it's the best designed app of them all. The Saramonic Air's receiver is also the only one here with a 3.5mm headphone output for real-time audio monitoring. None of the other competitors here have this feature on their receivers. Now, the Saramonic Air does have low-cut filter. Unlike the competitors, there's actually 2 different levels of low-cut filter you can add. You can add a 75 Hz filter or a 150 Hz filter. You can do that, you can change low-cut filter on the receiver or within the phone app. So I'm going to go ahead and enable the first level of low-cut filter. So now low-cut filter 75 Hz has been enabled. Let me know if you hear a difference in the audio. We'll go ahead and test out the higher level of low-cut filter as well, the 150 Hz level. And now in the Saramonic Air, this is low-cut filter with 150 Hz. So the highest form of low-cut filter available in this microphone. This is what it sounds like. Another audio setting we have on the DJI Mic Mini is low-cut filter, but unlike the Saramonic, we only have one level. It's either off or on. So let's go ahead and turn it on and hear what it sounds like. Now this is the DJI Mic Mini with low-cut filter turned on. This is what it sounds like. I'm not really sure how strong this low-cut filter is. I do like the ability to choose the strength that Saramonic offers, but it's nice to have low-cut filter because the Rode Wireless Micro does not even have it. But since we're doing audio tests, let's also hear what noise cancellation sounds like on all of these microphones. Noise cancellation is actually new on the Rode. It was just introduced in the May 2025 firmware update. So now we're testing the Saramonic Air. We're going to hear what the noise cancellation sounds like. So to enable noise cancellation, it's really nice to have this display so I can see the settings and verify that it's turned off or on. But there's a dedicated noise cancellation button on the receiver, so I'm going to go ahead and press it. So now I believe we should have noise cancellation enabled. Here's what it sounds like. If I press it again, I just see icons. I'm not entirely sure what they mean, but there might be a second level of noise cancellation. So I'm going to go ahead and press that button again. So here's what it sounds like. And yeah, if I press it again, this is what turns it off completely. So let's go ahead and do that as well so you can hear the difference. And there we go. Now with no noise cancellation with the Saramonic Air. The thing with noise cancellation is that you can add it in post-production, and you have a little greater control over the degree of noise cancellation. So I oftentimes like to do that instead of using it in the microphone, but of course it's always nice to have in the mic. Let's test out noise cancellation on the DJI Mic Mini. We've got two different levels, so we'll start off with the lowest level. So I went ahead and pressed the power button on the transmitter, and I can see in the receiver that it's yellow, so I know that I've got noise cancellation enabled. This is the normal level, the lowest level of noise cancellation. But there's one other level, there's a strong level. So we have to go into the app to enable it, but let's go ahead and test out the strong level of noise cancellation. Now we have the strong level of noise cancellation enabled on the DJI Mic Mini, so here is what it sounds like. Go ahead and turn it off so we can hear the difference or the contrast. And now is no noise cancellation. So here's what it sounds like with the DJI Mic Mini. So one of the new features that came to the Rode Wireless Micro via the recent firmware update was noise cancellation. So there's two different levels. Right now we have it off, but let's go ahead and hear what they sound like. This is the Rode Wireless Micro using the low noise cancellation filter. You turn that filter off and on, and you control the levels inside of the Rode Central app that's on your phone. So yeah, this is the low version. Let's go ahead and hear the high noise cancellation as well. And this is the high noise cancellation filter on the Rode Wireless Micro. Here's what it sounds like. I feel like usually other microphones, they add a little bit too much noise cancellation when they're using the high filter, but we'll see what Rode did with theirs. Very curious to hear the results. Now, all of these microphones have built-in non-removable rechargeable batteries. The Rode by far has the least battery life at 7 hours per transmitter, while the Saramonic Air has 9 hours per transmitter, and the DJI has the most at 11.5 hours. In terms of price, the Saramonic Air is $149 without wired lavalier microphones, or $169 to include the two wired lavs, while the DJI Mic Mini is $169, and the Rode Wireless Micro is $141. But one of the key differences between these mini mics is their compatibility. The receivers for the Saramonic Air and the DJI include a TRS connection for cameras and USB-C and Lightning connectors for phones, tablets, and computers, while the Rode is either USB-C or Lightning, with no ability for a 3.5mm camera connection. But even though the Rode advertises the Micro as a smartphone-only mic, I have found that it can work with some mini cameras, like the DJI Pocket 3 and the Osmo Action 5. But one huge new advantage of the Saramonic Air is that if you're a Sony shooter, you can get this optional $30 adapter and use it to connect wirelessly to Sony multi-interface shoe compatible cameras. This is a feature that the Rode and the DJI don't currently offer. But one place where the Saramonic is lacking is in Bluetooth connectivity. Only the DJI, and recently the Rode, allow their transmitters to be connected via Bluetooth, but there are some limitations. Let's first talk about the Rode because this is a brand new feature. So Rode recently released a May 2025 firmware update for the wireless micro that brings several new features, including something called Direct Connect, which allows users to connect the wireless micro transmitters directly to an iOS device via Bluetooth using the Rode Capture app. So you no longer need to connect with the physical receiver unit. So another new feature that came to the Rode Wireless Micro via that firmware update is the ability to connect the transmitter to a phone via Bluetooth. Right now we're recording with the physical receiver in the phone, but let's go ahead and switch over to Bluetooth and hear what that sounds like. So now I've got the Rode Wireless Micro connected via Bluetooth to my iPhone. There is one catch with doing this in that you, as far as I can tell, you have to use the Rode Capture app, which is their phone app. I didn't even know they had one, their camera app on their phone. And so you have to use that in order to connect this mic wirelessly via Bluetooth to your phone. I mean, it's a nice app. Like, one thing I do like about it is it's got these audio levels on the side, and I can have direct control to the microphone settings from within the camera app. So that's nice, but I'm too used to using the native iPhone app, and so I do wish that there was more flexibility around that. Perhaps that'll roll out in the future. But yeah, here's what it sounds like with the Rode Wireless Micro connected via Bluetooth to my phone. Bluetooth connectivity is also available for the DJI Mic Mini. However, it tends to work best when it's connected to DJI products, and that's best demonstrated in a sample. This is an audio test of the DJI Mic Mini connected to my iPhone 16 Pro via the physical receiver. So that is plugged in. We do not have any filters enabled. There's no low-cut filter, no noise reduction. We do have the clipping control enabled. But yeah, this is what it sounds like recording directly to this microphone. Now we have the DJI Mic Mini wirelessly connected via Bluetooth to the iPhone 16 Pro. So here's what it sounds like. In the past, I have heard an audio difference, a drop in quality really, when DJI mics are connected via Bluetooth to non-DJI cameras. I believe that is still the case, but you guys let me know if you don't hear a difference. For the DJI, when it's connected to a device via Bluetooth, the transmitter doubles as a remote control. On the Rode, there are no physical buttons, so you can't use it as a remote. So in conclusion, there is no shortage of wireless microphone options right now, but the Saramonic Air brings some genuinely useful features that you won't find on the Rode or the DJI at this price point. Which one is best really comes down to how you plan to use it. If you're filming with a DJI camera like the Pocket 3 or the Action series, sticking with a DJI mic might make the most sense because of its seamless Bluetooth connectivity to DJI devices. But if you're an exclusive phone shooter, then the Rode Wireless Micro's ultra-compact receiver is pretty hard to beat. It is so small that I wouldn't even bother messing with its new Bluetooth connectivity. But if you're on a budget and you need a headphone jack, on-device controls, or the option to add a wired lavalier microphone, and especially if you shoot with a Sony camera, then the Saramonic Air is worth a serious look. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Which of these mics would you choose? And what kind of camera would you pair it with? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.